kick off the event, would like to say a few words first, Supervisor? Okay. Um, Currently, I serve as the chairman of the Orange County Board of Supervisors, and today is an exciting event, and we're glad you're here to help us out and to celebrate the moment, the occasion to get the $100,000 grant from the Best Friends Animal Society. And we will hear from Jose Botano in a minute from Best Friends Animal Society. But let me take this occasion to tell you what an exciting thing it is, more than just a donation for us. Yes. We will go into the little bit of the history leading to the new shelter that you see here today and all the good work that's going on. But to kick off the event, let me invite Dr. Heather Clark and Rose Tingle to come up and do the invocation.
Please join me in prayer. So this is what I know is true. I know that that great overarching presence that I call God is everywhere. It is the first cause of life itself. It is eternal, unconditioned and unconditional love. And it is right here in this celebration, in this moment. And so what I know for us this morning is that we are witnessing a great event. We're witnessing the Best Friends' generosity. We're witnessing the funding of this shelter, and that every animal is safe here, is loved here. I know that each one of us is connected with Source, and so connected with each other, connected with all life. And I give great thanks for the good that is going on today. I give great thanks for the supervisors, for this shelter, and for each one. With my heart filled with gratitude, knowing that this is certain to unfold in perfect order, for the divine is moving through each one. I simply give great thanks. For the cries of the kittens, I give great thanks. It reminds us where we are. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. And next, for the flag salute is Linda Weissman, our 2017 Foster of the Year.
Good morning. Please face the flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Linda. There is so much to tell you about this shelter, but one of the most instrumental members on the board is Supervisor Spitzer, who really helped identify this location and can best give you the history leading up to this shelter, and I want to save that for him, okay? But I do want to focus on what is it that we do at the shelter here. In 2017, Orange County Animal Care took care of 19,000 animals, serving 14 contract cities in the county. And in March of 2018, this year, we opened up this new state-of-the-art shelter. And this is the result, the culmination of a lot of years of soul searching, of coming up with the right model of care, of the right design, consulting the right experts, and then listening to you, the community, the stakeholders, and coming together as a community to build what I believe will be a role model for the nation in terms of animal care. And you being here, supporting us, volunteering, and helping us to further the mission of reducing the number of kills that we have at our shelter and to take care of animals. That is ultimately the result and you know, the validation of all the efforts that we have put in. And I will thank a few people in a moment. But I want to take this opportunity as well. You will hear from Mike Caviani, our new director of OC Animal Care. He's standing over here. Woo! Mike came to us after his 5-month-long nationwide recruitment. And he came to us after having served as director of life-saving operations for the nonprofit Austin's Pets Alive in Austin, Texas. Mike brings with him more than 14 years of knowledge and experience from the animal care industry, with his primary focus on developing innovative solutions for the most challenging 5% of canine shelter populations. Through his efforts to put together this program, he really is focusing and helping us to focus on volunteer engagement and retention, and has brought with him the demonstrated successes that he had put in place in Austin as far as the different diverse programs such as animal length of stay, animal care and enrichment, and dog behavior training. And so, even though we have gotten a lot of improvement and you know, good results in the last 5 years, we were able to reduce the save rate, or rather increase the save rate for dogs to 90% from 70% just 5 years ago. And the adult cats save rate went from 40% to 72%. So those are significant numbers in the last 5 years. So we have already started to make great improvement, but I believe that with Mike, we will be able to take it to a whole different level because of the great work that he has already done in Austin, and with the new facility and all of the commitment that we have at the county, certainly on the board of supervisors, we have all the ingredients in order to take this thing to the next level. And before I go into the grant from Best Friends Animal Society, we have with us someone that really was instrumental in working with the board of supervisors to bring into reality this state-of-the-art facility you see here today. And not just the facility, also the programming that's going on. And I really want to take this opportunity, since she is here in town, to recognize her. And that is Dr. Jyoti Robertson. Dr. Robertson is with JBR Shelter Strategies, a consultant. And Dr. Robertson guided us, supported us, and led us in the OC Animal Care Strategic Plan, and helped us to develop and incorporate industry best practices here at the shelter. And her work really permeated in every aspect of the shelter you see here today. And what's great is Dr. Robertson also reached out to many stakeholders, many different industry leaders, to make this really a collaborative effort. And cannot say enough, Dr. Robertson, for the thanks that we have for you from the Board of Supervisors. You took our vision and you took it to make it reality for us. Thank you. So the grant today is from Best Friends Animal Society for $100,000. And through this grant money, OC Animal Care will increase funding with the goal of increasing the live release rate for kittens from the current rate of 46% up to 60%. And the grant money will contribute to expanding OC Animal Care's foster caretaker program and its program for neonatal bottle-fed kittens, which we, Supervisor Spitzer and I had just tried to do. So the funds will be put toward spay and neuter services, all medical care, vaccinations, microchip, and antibiotics for neonatal kittens. So our goal will always be to find permanent, loving homes for all animals at the OC Animal Care Shelter. And this grant takes us one step closer to that goal. And I want to thank the Best Friends Animal Society for partnering with us. And at this time, for more comment that will really excite you as to what we do here, you know, and give you like exciting history about the OC Animal Care Shelter. Supervisor Spitzer.
Thank you, Chairman Doe. Oh, give him a big round of applause. Under his leadership, we opened this animal shelter. It's pretty terrific. So, can I see that little girl back there with the mask, please? Hey, young lady, I need to see that mask. Would you walk up here? No, come up here. So this morning, come here. No, come on up. Can I borrow that for a minute? Oh, no. Thank you. Okay. I wanted to put this on for a minute. So this morning, we got here really early this morning. And you can see that the dogs were really helpful in helping to do the balloon designs. But the cats kept popping the orange ones, so we... Oh, come on. You know, you're going to laugh at me. But I want to describe the issue as you're hearing these screaming, hungry kittens. We took in last year 4,752 kittens and cats last year. That's an overwhelming number of cats. This year we took in 3,575, and so we're 300 ahead of last year's numbers. So all of you here today that are here in the community lining up, how many of you are going to adopt kittens today? All right, cool. So I asked these nice people how many kittens they were going to adopt today. And is your name Big Mouth, or is that just a shirt you're wearing? What's your name? Dallas. Dallas? So how many kittens are you taking today, Dallas? Okay, I've got about 1,000. I can try to talk you into that. But the point of doing that, and thank you, Dallas, is that it starts with a person taking a kitten or a cat. That's where it starts. And we want responsible people to foster and adopt pets. So whether you're here for a dog or a cat, you're giving another life opportunity to these animals who need you in their lives. You know, it's no accident that the street out here is called Victory Road. Just across the way is the rescue mission. So there's people, humans, people like us, people trying to get their lives back together and get on a good footing. And over here we have the animal shelter, animals who need us and you to help them get their lives back on track and on a good footing. So this whole area, the Sheriff's Academy is right there, this whole area is just a really wonderful place with a great energy. And Minister, thank you so much for your prayer this morning. I mean, that was so fitting because none of us can do this alone. We all need God and to help us get this done. And that's really what it's about. It's about pulling together the Board of Supervisors in support of us politically and all of our great staff and really the influence that you brought to the table today. So I know some people get uncomfortable, right? Government, prayer, invocation. But, you know, for those who feel that's important and that's appropriate, I personally think it is. So the chairman talked about the 19,000 animals that will pass through here, but that's huge. And so to Best Friends, I want to thank you. And the reason they came up with this grant is to focus on shelters throughout the country that need to boost their numbers of adoption to avoid sometimes things we're not comfortable talking about, and I'm not going to, because this is a celebration. But without their help, I'm not sure we would get to the same place that we would have otherwise without your intervention. So it all comes together. And the Board of Supervisors and Chairman and I were very, very pleased that you are giving us this grant. And we're just indebted to you for helping us become and want to be more successful, because that's what it's all about. So thank you so much for that. I just want to give you a little word of advice, especially to the ones who are going to Dallas. Are you listening? Dallas, I used to be a teacher, okay? I know when people aren't listening, all right? Especially young people. Adults don't listen to me all the time, okay? But young people, when you are out and about, all of you, and you see a litter of kittens, sometimes you think it's abandoned, right? Because you see this litter and you want to take it and you want to then transfer it. You'll bring it here to animal care. But it's really important to allow that litter to stay in place and come back later in the day and then observe whether or not those kittens have been taken care of. Because oftentimes the mother is out foraging for food or doing what she needs to do to take care of her litter. And so sometimes we can intervene too early and disturb the location. So that's just a little bit of some of the things we're going to learn today. And if you're here to help us foster and learn to take care of our animals, that'll be part of it. The last thing I want to say, Mr. Chairman, is I want to thank our volunteers. If you think about the magnitude of the feeding process alone, with thousands of kittens and dogs and other animals, we have other animals here as well, but those are our largest populations. Without our volunteers, we would never, ever, ever be able to accomplish the amazing tasks on a daily basis and oftentimes throughout the day that need to take place. So I'm so pleased to be here. This is such a great gift. Thank you to all of you. And then spread the word. If you have a good experience with animal care, make sure you go online, you rate us, you tell our staff how well they're doing. They really appreciate that feedback. And then share the word so we can further the adoption process, and hopefully it will grow exponentially throughout the county. So thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, back to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Supervisor Spitzer. And now, for the great donor for this great grant for our Animal Care Center, Best Friend Solutions, Jose Ocano.
The check is coming. All the things come to those who wait. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm super stoked about being here for a lot of reasons. So I just want to thank you all for having us here today. It's such an honor to be here. And before I start the story of how we ended up here, I really want to acknowledge the fact that so many people, staff, volunteers, advocates, did a lot of work to get us to this moment. You know, we're building off of the hard work you all did. This isn't Best Friends just coming in and saving the day. This is Best Friends coming in and boosting up what you all have done. So give yourselves a round of applause for everything you've done for. So it's an interesting story of how I ended up here and how we're here with the check. And it all started with me coming to Best Friends because Best Friends started with this campaign to get the country to no-kill by the year 2025. So they created new roles like for myself, Taylor, my colleague over here, who some of you may have worked with before. And we're really focusing on the states and the places where the most amount of animals are dying. And California is actually number 2 in the whole country. So I'm based out of LA. And so our goal is to figure out, okay, what do we do? Where do we go? Who do we partner with? And so my first week moving to LA, Best Friends put together a dinner for me to meet some of our local partners. And so I'm on the way to the dinner, and I get a text from one of my colleagues, Tawny Hammond, who was the director of Austin Animal Services, and also now works for Best Friends Animal Society. And she said, "There's a woman named Saskia who really wants to talk to you." She's texting me a lot. And I was like, all right. So I show up to this house in LA, and I get a little tap on my shoulder, and I meet Saskia. And she was so passionate about this community. And she really gave me like a 101 education on the journey this community has gone through. And she was my first lifeline to this place. And I knew it, I was like, okay, we need to do something here. We need to figure out some way to help. And then Saskia connects me to Dr. Jyoti. And it's interesting because my first conversation with Dr. Jyoti was at the American Pets Alive conference in Austin, which Mike Caviani plays a really huge role in. And so at this time, me and Taylor were figuring out, okay, who are we gonna grant to? We knew we had, a bucket of money. And historically what we do is we get that bucket of money and we divide it up to give maybe a lot of people a little bit. And what me and Taylor were thinking about was how cool would it be if we could give a bigger amount to someone who could really make a dent. So we're having this conversation, and then I talked to Dr. Jyoti and she's like, we need help with kittens. We really need help with kittens. And I said, put a grant in. Put it in and let's figure it out. And Dr. Jyoti was actually really critical in actually writing that grant with for OCAC, and we talked about it, and there was lots of iterations of who can we save? How do we stretch this money so we can save the most amount of animals as possible? And then what was really great is then I got a call, and it was about, you really need to connect with Dylan and Samantha. And I was like, great. And so Samantha and I had a few email conversations, and she brought herself and Chris over to LA, and we spent several hours together. And I was so impressed with the openness and that caliber of leadership in government. Someone who really cares and is really dedicated to learning what they may not understand yet. And I remember talking to Taylor after the fact, so all of these things happened, and I was like, the stars are aligning. They are so ready for this. They've come so far. They have, Dr. Jyoti who can really help guide them. They have the support of leadership, the support of the Board of Supervisors. And there's this opportunity for this new director to come on board. And so when we also found out it was Mike Kaviani, it became the easiest decision we have ever made. And so we are just so honored to be here to play a supporting role in your journey. And we know that this is just the beginning. We really firmly believe that Orange County Animal Care actually has the potential to be like the organization in Southern California that everyone can learn from. This is going to be the model. I am so convinced that this is going to be the model. And that honestly is a big reason why we're supporting this community, because the reality is there's a lot of places that need help, but your stars are aligned. Now is the time for all of you to work together. Even when you disagree on how to get to that end goal, you have everything you need to cross the finish line. And we're going to be here to support you the whole way. So thank you so much. We're excited to be here.
Jose, thank you for the encouraging words and also for your support. I also want to mention someone in the audience here, Rose. I want to thank you for your care on the issue. You pushed us, you prodded us, cajoled us, kicked our behind a little bit, but the result is good. Thank you. And I want to, you kept the issue on the forefront for us, and we couldn't get here without that motivation. So thank you. So last but not least is our new fearless leader, Mike Kaviani. Mike, after all the build-up, people have, that's right. Okay. So.
Thank you. And I'm going to try to be quick because there's some kittens here who are like, yeah, save me! So you guys know I've been here just under a month. And a lot of you may have heard me say these words that even though I've been in the shelter industry and the animal welfare industry for over 14 years, I still love humans just as much as I love animals. And this grant represents exactly why. This grant represents the effort and the commitment that is what was already occurring in this county, that then an organization recognized that and reached out, and an organization run by some of the best humans I've ever met reached out and recognized that commitment, recognized that drive, and recognized the power of partnering together. So now we have two organizations partnering together to save the lives of the most vulnerable animals in our community. But it doesn't stop there. That partnership, now we get to now take this incredibly generous grant and reach out to our community to continue to partner and to turn everyday people, such as yourselves, into everyday heroes who foster these kittens. And if you think I'm being hyperbolic, you've never fostered a kitten before, because that is truly, truly heroic. You're up every 2 hours, round the clock, ensuring these little babies are eating, are going to the bathroom, are gaining weight. And if you've got a litter of like 4 or 5 kittens and you've got to be up every 2 hours to feed them, that clock starts for the first kitten that you fed. So you're not sleeping. And if that's not heroism, I don't know what is. And now we get to grow that foster base and really reach out to our community. We've got professional organizations, we have staff, we have volunteers, we have fosters that are now holistically turning Orange County into the safest place to be a homeless pet. And it's all because of the power of these partnerships and the power of humans when we come together to save lives. So by the way, if you want to learn how to be a foster, we're doing that right now. So after we accept this generous check, please stick with us, because we're going to be in the Learning and Training Center showing people how to foster, how to bottle feed. Our supervisors are experts now, by the way. So if you want any expert help, absolutely right behind me. But it's the power of this community, from the supervisors down. We have it all here. You've heard it. We are going to be the best shelter in the country, and now we get to bring in fosters. We're trying to commemorate this $100,000 grant by bringing in 100 new fosters today. So please stick with us, learn how to do it, and if you've never done it before, it doesn't matter. We'll be there to teach you and to mentor you. So let's do the check.
You're making it rain.
We gotta grab our class.
All right, we have some really important characters.
We're gonna do this, I think. We're actually doing it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, now everyone wants to get up close. We should have done this in the beginning. So, on behalf of Best Friends Animal Society, we'd like to present you this $100,000 check to save 675 kittens in 1 year to OCAC.
Yes. You got it.
Yeah, I know. I know how to get a kid to latch on. So I'm teaching the class today, if anybody would like to. If you're an attorney, I'll give you 2 hours of continuing education.
That's super cute.
That's amazing.
This is like the best check ceremony I've ever seen.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.